How many times have you stopped to reflect on the true meaning of happiness? How many times at the end of a day have you felt that something was still missing, even after achieving what you believed would bring the long-awaited joy? Our society, with its countless appeals to consumption, success, and status, has created a definition of happiness that seems increasingly unattainable. We were told that if we have more money, more recognition, more perfect relationships, we will be happy. But in the pursuit of these goals, many end up feeling that they are drifting further away from what truly matters. Why does this happen? And how is it possible to live fully without constantly seeking something external to complete us? Stoic philosophers over 2,000 years ago were already discussing these same dilemmas, and the solution they found may seem, at first glance, dark. They tell us that what most people believe to be happiness is, in fact, an illusion. It is not something that can be achieved through fame, power, or fortune. Indeed, the more you try to attain external happiness, the more it seems to slip through your fingers. However, the Stoics discovered a secret that can completely transform your view of what it means to live well. And no, it's not something complicated or a magic formula. The answer lies in something much simpler and at the same time profound. True happiness is not found in something you can seek outside, but in how you face life and the circumstances around you. From an early age, we are taught to believe that happiness depends on external factors. We want to achieve, gain, and be recognized. This is not a moral failing. It is simply how society has shaped us over time. Advertising tells us that if we buy that car, that house, or the latest gadget, we will finally be happy. Social media bombards us with images of seemingly perfect lives, making us believe that happiness lies in reaching certain standards or milestones in life. But this view is misleading. Happiness that depends on external elements such as material possessions, success on social media, or even the acceptance of others is a temporary and fragile happiness. And what happens when we lose these elements? The dream job may disappear, the ideal relationship may crumble, and wealth may evaporate. The Stoics warned us about the dangers of entrusting our happiness to something beyond our control. When we do this, we are handing our well-being over to chance. At any moment, life can change, and what once brought us joy can become a source of frustration. But what the Stoics knew, and what many still do not realize, is that true happiness is not something that can be given or taken away by circumstances. It comes from within. Here lies one of the most fundamental principles of Stoicism, the distinction between what is within our control and what is not. Imagine, for example, that you are driving to an important appointment and suddenly it starts to rain torrentially. Can you control the weather? No, but what you can control is how you react to the situation. You could get angry, curse, or you could simply accept what is beyond your control and proceed calmly. The Stoics divide things into two categories, those we can control and those we cannot. And as surprising as it may be, many of the things we believe we can control are actually beyond our reach. We cannot control other people's opinions, nor the unexpected events of life. What is truly within our control are our thoughts, our reactions, and our choices. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught that the key to freedom lies in focusing on what we can control. When we worry too much about what is beyond our reach, we end up becoming prisoners of our circumstances. We become hostage to our expectations and desires. However, when we accept that we cannot control everything, we find a form of freedom that most people spend their entire lives unsuccessfully seeking. This freedom allows us to live with tranquility, even in the face of the greatest adversities. This does not mean we will be indifferent or apathetic. It means we will be unshakable, for we will understand that true happiness does not depend on external events, but on how we choose to react to them. One of the biggest challenges we face in the pursuit of a happy life is our fixation on results. Since childhood, we are conditioned to believe that the value of our actions lies in what we achieve with them. We work to get a promotion, we study to pass an exam, we dedicate ourselves to a relationship, hoping it will flourish. But what happens when, despite all our efforts, things don't go as planned? The Stoics teach us that we should focus on the process, not the results. What does that mean? It means we should do our best in all circumstances, but without clinging to what will happen. The final outcome is not within our control. Only our actions are. Imagine a farmer who plants a seed. He can care for the soil, water the plant, and ensure the best conditions for growth. But he cannot control whether a storm or a pest will destroy the harvest. Similarly, we must learn to detach ourselves from the results and concentrate on doing the best we can with what we have. Whatever comes from that, be it success or failure, should not disturb us, for we did what was within our reach. This attitude alone is liberating. It frees us from the constant anxiety that arises when we want to control the uncontrollable. By focusing on the process, we discover a form of happiness that is not conditioned on success or failure, but rather on the effort and intention behind each action. Another great misconception that most people have about happiness is believing it is tied to pleasures. Of course, we live in a society that highly values immediate gratification. Food, entertainment, shopping, all of these stimuli promise instant satisfaction, quick and effortless happiness. But the Stoics already knew that pleasures are fleeting and often illusory. Seneca, in particular, was skeptical about the relentless pursuit of pleasures. He saw this pursuit as something superficial, which distances us from the true meaning of happiness. When we base our joy on ephemeral pleasures, we end up falling into a vicious cycle. The more we seek, the less satisfied we become. The satisfaction that comes from a delicious meal or a new purchase is real, but it is temporary. Soon after, we need more to maintain the same level of pleasure. The Stoics invite us to cultivate a more lasting form of happiness, one that does not depend on external indulgences. For them, moderation and self-control are fundamental. This does not mean renouncing pleasures, but rather not becoming enslaved by them. When we learn to appreciate pleasures in a balanced way, without allowing them to control our lives, we find a deeper and more enduring source of happiness. If happiness is not found in external things, in results, or in pleasures, where can it be found? For the Stoics, the answer is clear: true happiness lies in virtue. And what does it mean to live virtuously? It means living according to reason, being guided by justice, courage, temperance, and wisdom. Virtue, for the Stoics, is the highest good. Unlike material possessions or achievements, virtue is something that no one can take away from us. It is completely within our control. When we choose to live according to virtue, we are choosing true happiness, as we are aligning our actions with our deepest principles. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, wrote in his journals about how virtue is the path to tranquility. He understood that by living virtuously, no matter what happens around us, true inner peace is unshakable. Life may be full of challenges and adversities, but by standing firm in our values, we find a source of strength and joy that no one can undermine. And here lies the beauty of virtue. It is not a momentary achievement, but a continuous journey. It is a commitment to live well day after day, cultivating our best qualities and learning from our mistakes. This pursuit of virtue brings us closer to true happiness, a happiness that does not depend on what happens around us, but on who we are at our core. One of the greatest challenges of modern life is our emotional attachment to things and people. Attachment can be a significant source of suffering, as it creates expectations and dependencies that often cannot be met. The Stoics offer us a different approach: emotional detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference or coldness. It is a form of emotional liberation. It is the ability to love, value, and care for people and things without being dominated by them. An example of this is how we handle relationships. Often, we become so dependent on the love and approval of others that our happiness starts to rely on them. This is a misconception that can lead to pain and frustration. The Stoics encourage us to cultivate healthy relationships, but without losing sight of our emotional autonomy. We should love people, but also recognize that we cannot control their actions or feelings. Emotional detachment allows us to enjoy relationships more fully, as we are not always at the mercy of others' opinions or behaviors. How can we practice this in our daily lives? Meditation and reflection are powerful tools. Take time to think about what truly matters in your life and how your emotions are tied to external situations. By beginning to understand your emotions, you become more capable of choosing how to react to them, creating space between the event and your response. Acceptance is one of the pillars of Stoicism. Accepting things as they are, rather than fighting against reality, is an effective way to reduce suffering. This does not mean resigning ourselves or being passive. It is a way to act with wisdom and strength in the face of adversity. Life is full of challenges, and we often encounter situations that we cannot change. Whether it is a loss, a failure, or a disappointment, how we react to these events can determine our happiness. The Stoics believe that by accepting what we cannot control, we find freedom and peace. We do not struggle against the current, Instead, we learn to navigate the turbulent waters of life. Resilience, in turn, is the ability to recover and adapt in the face of difficulties. The Stoics were masters at cultivating this resilience. When we face challenges, instead of allowing ourselves to be defeated, we can view them as opportunities for learning and growth. Each difficulty we encounter can teach us something valuable, and this perspective transforms even the most painful situations into moments of personal development. The practice of daily reflection is a powerful tool for the Stoics. Taking time each day to analyze our actions, thoughts, and feelings helps us cultivate self-awareness and understanding of ourselves. This allows us to identify areas where we can improve and brings us closer to virtue. Seneca, one of the leading Stoic thinkers, advised dedicating moments of the day to review our actions and decisions. Ask yourself, what did I do today that was virtuous? What could I have done differently? This practice is not a form of self-criticism, but rather an invitation to growth and continuous evolution. Additionally, daily reflection helps us maintain focus on what truly matters. Instead of being swept away by automatic routines, we become more intentional in our actions. This allows us to live with more meaning and purpose, aligning our actions with our values and goals. Writing can also be a powerful tool in this practice. Many Stoics kept journals to record their reflections and thoughts. Writing about our experiences can help clear the mind and consolidate learning, making us more aware of our path. One of the Stoic recommendations that is often overlooked is the importance of connecting with nature. Nature has a unique way of reminding us of the simplicity and beauty of life. When we step away from the chaos of cities and the hustle of daily life, we find a space for reflection and peace. The Stoics believe that nature is a great teacher. It shows us the impermanence of things and teaches us about cycles of life and death, growth and decline. By observing the changes of the seasons, we understand that everything is in constant transformation, and this helps us accept changes in our own lives. Furthermore, spending time in nature can help clear the mind and renew the spirit. The tranquility of the natural environment allows us to disconnect from daily distractions and worries, providing a space for introspection and self-knowledge. Find time in your routine to connect with nature. Whether it's a walk in the park, a stroll along the beach, or a hike in the mountains, this connection can be a powerful ally in your pursuit of true happiness. The Stoics also understood the importance of community and mutual support. Life is a collective journey, and connection with others is fundamental to our well-being. Our social interactions can offer us support, love, and opportunities for growth. Solidarity and empathy are essential values in Stoic philosophy. When we come together to help one another, we not only strengthen our bonds, but also find a greater sense of purpose in our lives. Mutual support teaches us that we are not alone in our struggles and challenges. Furthermore, participating in groups, debates, and philosophical discussions can enrich our understanding of the world and help us apply Stoic teachings in our lives. The exchange of ideas and experiences with others can open up new perspectives and insights, leading to deeper personal growth. Be active in your community, offer support to friends and family, and seek connections that inspire and nourish your soul. This social interaction, when based on virtue and mutual respect, can become a powerful source of happiness and fulfillment. Finally, the continuous pursuit of wisdom is what truly characterizes the Stoic life. Wisdom is not a destination, but a journey. Throughout our lives, we must always strive to learn and grow, not only intellectually, but also emotionally and spiritually. The study of philosophy, reading books, and reflecting on past experiences all contribute to our personal growth. The Stoics encourage us to be curious and to question our beliefs, always seeking the truth. This process allows us to align our actions with our values and live a more authentic life. Remember that happiness is not a permanent state, but a constantly evolving process. Throughout life, we will face challenges, joys, and sorrows. What matters is how we choose to react to each of these moments. By cultivating wisdom, virtue, acceptance, and connection, we are on the right path to a fulfilling and meaningful life. True happiness, according to the Stoics, is not a goal to be achieved, but a way of living. It is a state of mind built on understanding, acceptance, and detachment. By applying these principles, we begin to see life in a new light, not as a race for external validation, but as a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Happiness is not the absence of difficulties or sadness, but the ability to find peace and contentment even in the most challenging situations. True happiness is accessible to all. It's not in material success or others' approval, but in how we choose to live and learn. Embracing Stoic philosophy enriches our purpose and connections.